Hey folks, welcome back to True Crime Stories, where we cover the most thrilling true crime stories. Before we get going, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for me. Thanks. And now let's get into today's story.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into a case that's both intriguing and unsettling. We're headed to Whispering Pines, a seemingly peaceful town nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Picture postcard views. Charming, really.
Yeah, totally. But beneath that idyllic facade lies a dark secret, a mystery that's haunted this town for the past 5 years.
The death of Sarah Lawson.
Exactly. 5 years ago, Sarah, a vibrant young woman, was found dead at the bottom of the Devil's Ledge, a treacherous cliff just outside of town.
A place steeped in local lore, shrouded in whispers and legends.
Officially, her death was ruled a hiking accident, but whispers of foul play have swirled through Whispering Pines ever since.
And that's where our deep dive begins. We'll be sifting through police reports, witness testimonies, forensic analysis, even personal journals trying to get to the bottom of what really happened to Sarah Lawson.
We're talking a tangled web of relationships, a community grappling with secrets and suspicions. It's a real-life whodunit.
And we're going to unpack it all piece by piece.
Right. So let's rewind back to that fateful day 5 years ago. Sarah decides to go for a hike, heading to the Devil's Ledge, this spot known for its stunning views, but also for its dangerous cliffs.
The name itself, Devil's Ledge, it's ominous, right?
Yeah, it's like something out of a Gothic novel. And sadly for Sarah, it became a reality.
She wasn't alone on that hike, though.
Right. Witnesses saw her with a newcomer to town, a guy named Caleb. And their accounts paint a disturbing picture, you know? They were arguing, heatedly, just moments before Sarah's fatal fall.
And that right there, that's what throws the whole accident theory into question. Why were they arguing? Did things escalate?
Exactly. Was this truly an accident, or was there something more sinister at play? And that's where Emily Carter comes in.
Sarah's best friend.
Yep. A journalist determined to uncover the truth behind Sarah's death. She returns to Whispering Pines, a place full of memories, both good and bad, and she's ready to dig deep.
But imagine this. Emily's not just an outsider investigating a case. She grew up in Whispering Pines. She knows the town, the people, the secrets that lie beneath the surface.
Which gives her a unique advantage. But it also puts her in a precarious position.
Because as she starts poking around, asking questions, she stirs up a hornet's nest. People get nervous. Secrets start to unravel.
And let's be real, small towns, they have a way of protecting their own. Emily's investigation quickly becomes a threat to the carefully constructed facade of Whispering Pines.
Okay, so we've got this idyllic town harboring dark secrets. We've got a tragic death shrouded in mystery.
And we've got a determined journalist ready to risk it all to find the truth. But to really understand what happened to Sarah, we need to understand the players in this drama.
Let's start with Caleb, the mysterious newcomer who was the last person to see Sarah alive.
His alibi was shaky at best. And when questioned by the police, he was evasive, nervous.
Red flags, for sure.
Then we have Martin Rivers, a reclusive artist who lives on the outskirts of town. He claimed he was painting in his studio when Sarah died. But rumors about Martin, they're kind of dark, like something out of a ghost story.
And rumors in a small town, they can be powerful. They can shape perceptions. They can make an innocent person look guilty.
Right. And then there's Emily herself. Believe it or not, some folks in town pointed the finger at her. Jealousy. Some old grudge against Sarah. It's a small town, remember. People talk.
And the fact that Emily left Whispering Pines to pursue her career, well, that just added fuel to the fire. Some people saw her as an outsider, someone who abandoned her roots.
So right off the bat, the investigation becomes a tangled mess. Accusations flying everywhere, secrets bubbling to the surface. But amidst the chaos, Emily starts to find some hard evidence.
The police reports, though they concluded accidental death, there were some things that just didn't add up, like those scuff marks near the edge of the cliff.
Sucker marks.
Yeah, like someone had been struggling, maybe trying to hold on.
Okay, so maybe not just a simple misstep.
Exactly. And then there was the toxicology report. Traces of a sedative were found in Sarah's system.
Wait, so she was drugged?
That's the question, right? Was this an intentional act? Was someone trying to harm Sarah?
That completely changes the game.
It does, and it makes everyone a suspect. Anyone who had access to Sarah, anyone who might have wanted her out of the picture.
But the most chilling piece of evidence, at least to me, comes from Sarah's cell phone. Her text messages, especially those with Emily, reveal a young woman who was scared, desperate.
Trapped.
Yes, trapped. It's like she was trying to tell Emily something, trying to reach out for help, but something or someone was stopping her.
And that's where things get really interesting.
So Sarah's reaching out, trying to tell Emily something's wrong. But what or who is she so afraid of?
Well, let's look back at the suspects. We've got Caleb. His story's already full of holes. Then there's Martin, the reclusive artist. Remember those scuff marks near the cliff?
Yeah, like someone was struggling.
Right. So Emily confronts Martin about them, and his reaction, it's not good. He gets flustered, tries to explain them away as just hikers wandering off the trail.
But it's a weak explanation.
Yeah.
And Emily senses he's hiding something.
Exactly. It just doesn't add up. And then there's Mike, Sarah's ex-boyfriend, the one with a history of controlling behavior.
And when Emily brings up the sedatives found in Sarah's system, he totally flips out. Starts ranting about how Sarah was unstable, needed help.
But it's like he's trying this too hard, to control the narrative even now. It raises a big red flag for Emily. If he was so concerned about Sarah, why didn't he know about the sedatives?
It feels like he's trying to shift the blame, make Sarah the problem.
Exactly. And then there's Jenna, the teenager, who seemed jealous of Sarah. She had a flimsy alibi, and she completely shuts down when Emily tries to question her.
Refuses to talk about where she was that day.
Her body language screams guilt, but without hard evidence, Emily's stuck.
It's like she can see the pieces of the puzzle but can't quite fit them together.
She needs a breakthrough, something that connects all these suspicious behaviors to Sarah's death. And remember how the Devil's Ledge is a popular hiking spot?
Yeah.
Emily decides to go back and interview everyone who was hiking there that day. Anyone who might have seen something.
Talk about dedication. She's leaving no stone unturned.
And it pays off. An older couple, regular hikers, they come forward. They remember seeing Sarah that day. And they remember her arguing with someone.
Hold on. Another witness saw Sarah arguing with someone at the ledge. But Caleb said they were just enjoying the view.
Right. This new account completely contradicts Caleb's story, and it gets even more disturbing. The couple describes Sarah as looking terrified, like she was pleading with the person she was arguing with.
So it wasn't just a disagreement. This was serious. Sarah was afraid.
Exactly. This new information throws the whole case wide open. Was Caleb lying about what happened that day? And if so, why?
But we still have the mystery of the sedatives. Could someone else have been involved?
Emily dives back into the forensic analysis of Sarah's phone. Remember those text messages she's scheduled to be sent later?
The ones where she's reaching out to Emily for help, saying she's scared.
Right. Well, it turns out those messages were scheduled for specific times. Times when Caleb was away from Sarah.
So she was afraid to send them while he was around.
It seems that way, like she was being watched, controlled.
That's chilling. It adds a whole new layer of suspicion to Caleb. If he was innocent, why would Sarah be afraid to contact her best friend while he was with her?
And it shifts the focus of the investigation. It's no longer just about a tragic fall. Now we're looking at potential coercion, manipulation, maybe even something much darker.
So it's looking pretty bad for Caleb. All these lies, the suspicious behavior, Sarah's fear, what happens next?
Well, Emily and the police, they decide to confront Caleb again. Lay it all out. The inconsistencies, the new witness, those scheduled text messages. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I did.
And he cracks, confesses.
Wow, so case closed.
Not so fast. His confession, it's carefully worded. Lots of talk about an accident, a tragic misstep, trying to downplay his role in Sarah's death.
Could have saved himself.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Even in his attempt to minimize what happened, he admits to being there when Sarah fell. He was at the edge of the cliff with her during that argument.
And that right there, that changes everything.
Right, because now with the eyewitness accounts, with Sarah's messages, it starts to paint a much clearer picture. This wasn't just some tragic accident. This was a controlling relationship, a desperate attempt to silence Sarah, and it ended with her death.
So what happens to Caleb?
The case goes to trial. In the courtroom, it becomes a battleground. The prosecution, they present a strong case. They've got the evidence, the witnesses, Sarah's own words. They argue that Caleb, whether intentionally or not, was responsible for her death. His actions, his need to control her, led to that fatal moment on the cliff.
And the defense?
They try to paint a different picture. They say Caleb was flawed, possessive maybe, but he never meant to hurt Sarah. They point to his confession, how emotional he was, claiming it was all an accident.
So who does the jury believe?
After days of deliberation, they reach a verdict. Guilty of negligent homicide.
So not murder, but still.
Right. It's a recognition that his actions, though maybe not premeditated, directly led to Sarah's death. He's sentenced to probation and mandatory counseling.
It's a complicated case. A tragic ending.
Definitely. And the impact of Sarah's death, it ripples through Whispering Pines. This idyllic town, it's now forever marked by this tragedy.
It's a reminder, isn't it, that darkness can lurk beneath the surface, even in the most picture-perfect places.
Absolutely. And it raises questions about the secrets we keep, the things we ignore, the ways we can be complicit in these tragedies. Like, how well do we really know the people around us?
That's a good question, one we should all be asking ourselves.
Because sometimes the greatest act of courage is simply speaking up, reaching out, letting someone know they're not alone.
That's a powerful message and a fitting end to this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And remember, if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out for help. You're not alone.